Hi, I'm David Francoeur with Orchestry, and I am here to launch the first of our product roadmap quarterly recaps. So today we're going to go through what happened at Orchestry in the last quarter, and we hope to have this as a new, exciting way to keep you in the loop within just 4 or 5 minutes, catch up on what you've missed, and see all the exciting new things that are available. So we're going to start with reporting. We've done a lot of work in reporting this quarter. We've improved the breadth of our coverage to include classic sites, non-group connected team sites, and even private and shared channel sites as well. This will now kind of eliminate what were remaining blind spots in the reporting and now give you kind of that full inventory and complete coverage across your environment. Now this does for us many things. One of the things it does is allows us to wrap up this information into useful experiences from which to take action. One of those is the Copilot Dashboard. This is a simple but powerful dashboard that is meant to measure your progress towards Copilot readiness across a number of assessment markers. So we look at oversharing markers in terms of privacy, sharing links, broken inheritance, and the exposure of folders. We look at governance markers. We also look at usage of things that keep your environment safeguarded through Orchestry. So the use of templates, which provide guardrails and ensure that the right security is in place, archival, workspace review, and much more. So very excited to launch this. This is just the first phase of many more to come, and we're getting some really good feedback from people who are already seeing things here that they weren't expecting. Now, the big story that we've continued to build upon in terms of reporting is going deeper into our reporting of sharing and permissions specifically. And this is a multi-stage process, but what we can see now is we have a few very big pieces in place. So, for example, we can see for every workspace in the environment, the total number of anyone links, organizational links, or specific user links. And this is not limited to 180 days. This is all time. So this is scanning all the way down to the root of every single site, every single workspace in your environment, and collecting this information and surfacing it to you, both here in an aggregated level, but also in a much more detailed level here for every individual site or team in your environment. So on this workspace, which we jokingly refer to as unaware shakily here, we have 162 links, and we quickly see a snapshot of the breakdown. Half of them are anyone links. That's a problem. 31% are organizational. That's a pretty broad level of access. And 20% are only identifying specific people, which is often the kind of safest route to take. So from this table here, we see the whole list of all of them. We can actually filter, we can sort, and then we can, most importantly, take action as well. So let's say that you wanted to, I don't know, find all of the links that were anyone links, for example, and you wanted to do a quick purge of those. You could do that, right? With a quick click, we've now reduced down to the 78 links. We can select them all, go to actions, and it's as simple as that. Those links are gone. Those access portals into your environment are now closed. We've also made this even easier with the use of the smart actions, where we can suggest some common approaches to doing quick purges without doing the deep analysis. Now, you want to use these with care. You want to make sure that you're doing so with support from across the organization, but this can be a quick way to have a very big impact on the sharing exposure. Now, finally, we're also reporting on broken inheritance, which is really, really important. It's kind of less well known, less well understood. It is a technical topic, but it's just as nefarious, if not more, than the sharing links problem. So we have cases where broken inheritance occurs because of sharing links, and we have cases where it occurs for other reasons. Sometimes it's manual, sometimes it's through, for example, the sharing link is created and removed, but the broken inheritance remains. This creates a ripple or a disruption to the permission structure in the site, and it can easily spiral into the hundreds and thousands of instances for a single site. So this creates a ton of problems for how the information is processed and read by services like Search and Copilot. Coming soon, we'll also have remediation in this area to help you realign broken inheritance and re-inherit things back to the way they should be. Now, another big thing we've been hearing from our customers is that storage is a challenge, right? And one of the things that we offer in Orchestry is really intelligent, powerful archivals that go and not only move content, but also process them, reduce the footprint, reduce the storage. We've now gone and also integrated into the new, relatively new M365 cold storage option. So we've had one customer who's already moved I believe it's 34 terabytes worth of data into the M365 archive. Now, for customers that are paying for storage, which is not uncommon, many of them are, this would be about $85,000 worth of SharePoint storage costs. But by moving it into the cold storage here, it's restorable at any time through Microsoft. We get the full fidelity of the site returned back to its original state, and we also save 75% of the cost. So this paired with the already powerful lifecycle management structure in place with Orchestry, where we have approvals and we're checking for inactivity, and we even support multi-step archivals, this now becomes a really powerful solution to help not only move that clutter, that rot content out of the active space, but also move it to somewhere that costs less money to store. The last big thing I want to cover is the workspace review. Now, the workspace review has undergone many transformations. It started with kind of a pretty simple 3-step process, and we've now grown that to 8 different modular things that you can choose to include in the workspace review. The latest that we've launched is the metadata review, which I'm very excited about. But the whole point of this is to reach out to team owners at scale. Rather than relying on administrators to make these decisions, we loop in the team owners, the people that have the business context and that can decide if A, the privacy is right, if the sensitivity is right, but all within the safe parameters and guardrails that you've already put in place within Orchestry. So for example, maybe you want to ensure a sensitivity label is there, but you don't want them to choose any which one. You want to enforce it from the associated template. Or maybe you want to ask the reviewer to choose, but they can only choose between 2 options, right? Creating that guardrail, but also looping in the team owner is critical. To do so at any small to medium and large enterprise scale, it is very, very difficult, even at the smallest level of organizations, to really pull this off effectively without getting that subject matter expertise from these users. So we're very excited about the growth of this, how this now solves not just 3 or 4 problems, but upwards of 8 or more now, and we're excited to see this continue to grow, and the usage of this feature has already been tremendous. Now, the last thing I'll share before I log off today is we have another upcoming webinar. It is a part 3 in our unseen, unsecured webinars that have been very popular. These are webinars in a series about sharing, permissions, broken inheritance, and some of the challenges that you can face when these are not well understood or managed, which tends to be the case in most organizations. It's just a very challenging topic. In the first 2 parts, we covered some of the basics. We talked about broken inheritance. We talked about sharing links, some of the weird things that can occur there. In the upcoming part 3 on October 16th, we're going to talk about the impacts of broken permissions or broken inheritance, specifically on agents and AI. And that's again on October 16th. Head over to our website, orchestry.com, to sign up. We'd love to see you there. Thanks.